It's the final part. Finally here. And the ride's been pretty fun, I guess. Although monkey cleanup is not. Anyway, I promised to talk about some other things other than the monkey cleanup here, so I guess we can talk about other Ape Escape stuff that I can remember off the top of my head. So right after this, there's obviously 2 sequels. But did you know that besides some of the stuff that you've seen in the West and like this, there's a whole bunch of Ape Escape stuff that came out. So for a fun fact, did you know that Ape Escape 2 was technically not the first sequel to Ape Escape, but I'm gonna go to a game called People's Sorrow 2001. And it's basically just a monkey cleanup game of its own. Literally this time, the monkey pants are, well, they're dirty and they gotta be cleaned up. So how do you do it? Get a vacuum and suck them right off. Yeah, that's an interesting idea of a game. Apparently it was meant to come out in the West. It's meant to be released overseas as Ape Escape 2001. And it was going to be published by the same people who did this. Same Sony group. But apparently somewhere out of nowhere they just canned it and never happened. Localization just never went anywhere. I have no idea why, but they just decided, I don't know why, they just did. So it's pretty much just Japanese only. And obviously, since I have little to no understanding of the Japanese language and everything about it, I'm just gonna have to decline any potential Let's Play over that. The goal here is just for Ape Escape 2 and 3 and this one, obviously. Any more, and I think I'll have to start taking lessons in the Japanese language. Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be much more work than anything else I've done so far. Because, think about it, besides trying to understand everything and, edit this all around, I'd also have to make it so you could understand it. Because who makes a video about a Japanese thing for, not like a general audience that speaks English? Like, who leaves it Japanese? So there'd have to be some work into translating that stuff. Unfortunately, I don't understand Japanese, of course, like I said before, so it'll never happen. But immediately right after People's Sorrow 2001 is Ape Escape 2, so all is well. There's some other games that came out like after Ape Escape 2. There's this Pumpkin Prime game, which is basically a minigame collection for the Ape Escape series. That one actually did come out in the West, so technically I could buy it and Let's Play it without having to do any extra work. But I never played it, don't own it, so I don't know what it's like. So I'm afraid I'll have to decline that one as well. There's also these Ape Escape Academy games for the PSP. I think they're, nah, never mind, I forgot. I was wrong. I was about to say that they're like the second or third best selling in the series, like this whole franchise, but no, that's not it. Best selling Ape Escape game is in fact this, well, not this particular one, but the original Ape Escape for PlayStation. I think it had like over 1 million, that's all I remember. I think it was 2 million because Ape Escape 2 had half of the sales, if not less, like less than 1 million. The second best selling Ape Escape game was this one. So it turns out people just only buy this game. I mean, sure, there have been people that played the other games, but generally the majority have not played anything but this game in its original state. And anyone who got this on PSP probably was just the same people who already got it in the first place on PlayStation. You know, I should probably get back on the localization story about Ape Escape, or People Saw 2001. So Sony localized Ape Escape 1, obviously. They also localized this version, because I guess they were expecting it to sell well. I mean, it did. It was second best selling. But apparently they pulled out with People Saw 2001. Just got cold feet, and I don't know why. So how did they get Ape Escape 2 and 3 out, you might ask? Well, for those particular games, they were localized by Ubisoft. And, well, I guess it isn't too bad. You just gotta deal with their, like, company logo appearing every time you start the game up. So I guess that's something you're just gonna have to deal with if you don't like them. Just don't forget that they're the ones who brought the Ape Escape games to the West. But when Sony did come back into doing things like localizing these games, I think they also did Ape Escape 3. But I think, no, Ape Escape 3 also had Ubisoft, so I guess Sony localized a select few. Like, I think they localized Ape Escape Academy. Okay, maybe not localized, publishing I'm thinking of. Sony published the first Ape Escape Academy on the PSP. Apparently that did not get received so well, and according to somewhere I've heard, Sony took that to heart and decided no spin-offs. So any potential localizations for the spin-offs were just canned immediately with Ape Escape Academy. I can't tell you if it's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. And like the sequel to Pumped and Pride, Billion Monkeys, was actually meant to be localized in PAL regions, so Europe was almost gonna get it. I mean, they did get the sequel to Ape Escape Academy themselves, but they didn't get that. So, and there's like a bunch of other spin-offs, like this racing game, and yeah, I don't remember anymore. Maybe there's an iToy thing, but they never came out here. I'm in specifically in the area of the least amount of Ape Escape related stuff, believe it or not. If I remember correctly, the PAL regions have just a bit more like Ape Escape related stuff than what, you know, the West does. So America, Canada, sorry, you got the short end of the stick on this one. And to top it off, and they even have like TV stuff. So around the time of Ape Escape 2, I believe, there was like these shorts that came out. They're pretty nice, I guess. I saw them. Didn't understand a lick of Japanese though, so I didn't get it. Basically just CG shorts, and that was it. There's even like a little extra long short about a golden hammer, I think. Not golden hammer, golden helmet. And yeah, that was nice. A few of them did come out in like, I think on Nickelodeon, but like you can only find like a few of them on YouTube, and they're not very good quality, and the sound will make you bleed on the ears. And apparently, to make up for that, I guess, or maybe they just wanted to profit off of it some more, they made like this animated series that basically has the Ape Escape characters, and that's it. It's not even that faithful to the source material. It's interesting, but it's not really worth it. And I think there is one more TV related thing. Apparently there was an anime series for this, like, for the Ape Escape series. He was like, Sorrow Get You on air. It had 2 seasons, and well, it's sort of an interesting situation with over here outside of Japan, and probably potentially in Japan. But I'll elaborate. The first season is the only one where people have actually translated it, believe it or not. So if you want, if you can look it up on YouTube and find all the first season's episodes, all wonderfully translated. Although I think you'll have to look extra hard for one of them, because one of them's not either. I believe one of them's not subbed on YouTube, and one of them's actually just missing, outright missing. And season 2, yeah, I watched it, did not understand anything, so that was fun. And like I said, it's not localized at all. So, yeah, sucks to be me and anyone who else doesn't understand the language. No one's yet to translate it. Oh, and there's also a few episodes, I think, of season 2, and I think 1 from season 1 that you cannot find anywhere on the internet. They're literally lost. The series is literally lost media. That is an interesting thing to think about. I guess it shows that nobody really cares all that much about Ape Escape beyond this one.
You did it.
And do you think Sony will ever re-release it? Probably not.
Spike! I've figured out where Spectre is. I've set up a portal to link you there, and you'll be able to choose it when you select the level. Now go out there and get him, pronto!
Well, I guess it's time to stop talking about all this other Ape Escape stuff, because, well, we're finally at the end game, the real end game. Finally found Spectre, we caught all his lackeys, now all that's left is to deal with him. And where do we go? Back to Dimension X. What a name. Yep, final battle. P-Point Matrix. This time it's for real. We are gonna capture him. There's nowhere else for him to run, so it's gonna end.
Ah, I see you've made it here at last, Spike. You really are persistent, aren't you?
That's right. You're still planning to rule the world, and I'm not gonna let that happen.
Anyway, I've got something I'd like to share with you.
What do you want now?
Spike, you are indeed formidable. Why not think of using your powers for other purposes?
I'm happy the way I am, thanks. Besides, getting mixed up in the things you do would make everyone miserable.
You're a child.
Haven't you been listening to me?
You know, you really annoy me with your whining. There's one more thing, though.
Come on, what are you talking about? Just a minute ago you were...
So, how's that old monkey trainer doing?
Huh? The old monkey trainer? At the amusement park? Spectre, could it be that you actually want to go back to the park? If you apologize to him, I'm pretty sure he'll forgive you, you know?
You idiot! What did I just tell you? Who'd want to go back to that place? First of all, why should I have to apologize for anything? I've got supreme power. Got it? Supreme power! And I can use it to do whatever the heck I want!
That kind of power is useless. You're just being controlled by the helmet. Just chuck the stupid thing away, Spectre. Then let's go back to the park.
Shut up! Now I'll prove to you how my magnificent power can bring you down!
Okay, But how about chucking away the helmet if I win?
Over my dead body!
All right, it's a deal then, Spectre. Bring it on!
Look at that, we have an actual boss battle again. How many have we had so far? I got like that thing from the castle. Jake, I think. Is there anything else before or after that? No, we got the hover ship thing that we gotta do with the TV tower. And after Jake was... I guess that clown. I think it was the gorilla acting, 2 phases of it. 5 bosses. This is the 6th boss, I guess. They sort of just chucked everything all at once at the end, huh? Oh, this is the final boss. The first phase here, he's on his chair, doesn't even feel like fighting you directly, head on. So you just gotta, so all he does is just charges one thing, you gotta use your super, well, you just gotta fly over. And maybe you might be able to hit him with your swing shot. As you can see, potentially there is some issues with trying to hit him. Yeah, it's not like that on the PlayStation, so for some reason it's worse here. In the second phase, without his chair, he still doesn't want to fight you. He's just gonna keeps running away, while he continuously summons these like projectile things, like little energy orbs. After a while, they start attacking you, and you gotta use your super hoop or just jump out of them at the right time to avoid them. Eventually, you just keep smacking his shield, dome shield thing, and you can finally hit him. And it just continues. That's it. That's all this boss fight is. It's not that hard. It's very basic. And you just keep doing this until he gives up. It's not really, he doesn't really want to fight you, does he? I mean, the bosses here aren't really anything special. This was the only one that actually managed to kill me, so I cut that out. You know, when you finally beat him, he just gives up. That's it. That wasn't really a special final boss at all. That was pretty pathetic. But it ends here.
Transporting! Gotcha!
That's it. No ending. We just cut it off right here. And it's the credits again. Anyway, this time I actually got some actual closing notes instead of just rambles. Here's my real opinion of the game. Now let me pull it up. Ape Escape for the PlayStation was, and still is, a great platformer that gave way to a unique dual stick setup you usually don't see in video games. For a first time, it surprisingly worked out well without any hitches aside from the infamous rowboat. While it might be seen as a convoluted way of handling controls, the game doesn't forget to design the game around it, so you won't frustrate you just because it forces it on you. The aesthetic of this game might seem sort of anime-ish, but the way they design the environments you go in this game fits right in with most other platformers from the era, with plenty of colorful areas for the most part. Although in my opinion, the sequels have more unique and memorable locales you get to go through. The one complaint I might have with the visuals is that I feel the game's appearance might appear a bit dark, maybe a bit rough. It's a little hard to note what doesn't gel with me other than something appears to be off. As for On the Loose, you're better off getting the original PlayStation version, as the removal of the dual stick setup that the series was known for greatly devalues the gameplay, as besides limiting your gadget selection on hand, it'll also leave you with stripped down versions of gadgets where you lose most control that you would have had with the right stick, or worse, the RC car, which now requires the use of the D-pad, which on a PSP means you have to make a crab claw to utilize it in areas where the player would have the luxury of having both sticks available. While faithful to an extent, it's lacking certain details that you might have not noticed due to my editing. Completing the castle level doesn't actually show the missing professor and Natalie, and its company cutscene only plays when you select the next level. The bosses with cutscenes after them only play after Spike does his victory animation, And in the case of the final boss, you lose out entirely on this awesome triple gotcha moment they had for the PS1 version. I'll try not to end this on a negative note, but I'll say this at least. The game looks better as the original was a PS1 game, so the polygon count was pretty low and had a pretty bad draw distance. But this remaster seems to have preserved its appearance while bringing on the new technological advances to keep it looking nice. The minigames, I argue, are much better here as they can actually be played as games and not experiments for the control style. But the removal of Galaxy Monkey and the inclusion of Jake attacks might be the trade-off on this whole ordeal, as Galaxy Monkey with its simple style lent itself to the dual stick setup well, whereas one is a waste of space, you could just play it in the level select. The voice cast without a doubt is actually better than the PS1 version, which has acting comparable to the original Resident Evil. Apes 3 would be the next game after this, and some of the actors do return for that, such as Natalie and the Professor, along with more roles to cover. It might be safe to say this, the best on the loose experience is preferably in the medium you're experiencing it right now. All in all, Ape Escape and Ape Escape on the Loose are a fun experience to do a shake-up of the collectathon genre, with the collectibles being the enemies you must capture. The time travel plot lent itself well into giving you the excuse to travel through various locales through time, but later games will later rely on different framing devices which work just fine on its own. If you're willing to play the game, the obvious choice is the PlayStation original. Despite its rough visuals, it is a competent game all around, and with maybe its greatest flaw being that it has all the strengths and weaknesses of a collectathon game. Once the game has been played, you'll have spent it all up, and you'll have to do a new game over to re-experience it. And while the monkeys might change between the levels, it'll still be only a marginal difference in catching them. But if you're out for a collectathon game, you probably won't mind this. Personally, it was a great ride, but if there's anything looking forward to the most, it's the sequels. Well, these aren't the sequels, so we'll end off on that. notyourusualZero, signing off.
Oh no! Look what time it is!
Hurry up, we're gonna be late! Hey, pretty sneaky, Spike!